Good morning. How y'all feeling after last night? Very good, I hear. We had a lot of fun at the pub quiz and the boat race. Of course, as always, staff came out victorious, as it should be. However, we have come together today, my children, in this cathedral of esports. It's kind of amazing, really, what the event team has managed to do here. Made an absolutely massive tent, and it's been quite a challenge. Apparently, concrete blocks were involved, but we're not going to delve too much into that because who wants to see some Team Fortress 2? Emerge have come out and sponsored this tournament with £5,000, and two teams have managed to come out on top. And they're here today. In the early hours of the day, it's been we try to, you know, pull it back as early as humanly possible so people, you know, could really focus on their drinking the day before. However, sadly enough, it looks like all the teams are actually here, which is kind of surprising. However, let's bring our teams up on the stage. Let's start off with Team Epsilon. Well, in the meantime, the other team standing backstage, we're just really thinking, you know what, some of these PCs, they may have issues, and we're going to laugh about it. In Germany, they call that Schadenfreude. Yes, that's actually a word. Let's bring them up as well. It's froyotech! But before we hand off to our casters, we're going to bring a man on towards the stage, and he has a couple of things to say. He's been with the community a very, very long time, even before I came on board like 7 years ago. However, he has a few things to say to both you and the people at home. Byte, join us, please. Give him an applause. This man has seen the worst and the best of esports. Byte, they're chanting your name. They want you. Let's see, what have you for us today? I'm going to hand it off to you, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Byte. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you, Aspec. Yeah, well, what a weekend, right? We've had some amazing games. I think everyone can agree. We've had best of threes, all go to 3 maps for the top 5 teams, I'd say, and it all went to almost golden caps. It was amazing to see. Epsilon yesterday bringing home the EU bread for us to be here and play against froyotech. So very well played to them yesterday. Obviously, we've got a few prerequisites we need to say. Obviously, we've got to say first of all thank you to the Aussies for coming all the way down here. So I think we should give them a round of applause. It's not easy going through a 36-hour flight for a game, I'm not gonna lie. So full credit to them for coming down here and unfortunately finishing 4th, but it was a very, very, very close game. And I think we should also give a round of applause to both of the American teams, Classic Mix-Up and Froyotech, for coming as well from America. Just a very quick, brief overview of how Froyotech got to the final and Epsilon. Team Immunity, they played Insomniacs and they won with 3 maps being played. And then after that, Team Immunity played Classic Mix-Up, and that was a sincerely close game. It took Hardblue to make a clutch play on last on a golden cap, Snakewater, to make it 5-4, getting a saw and an arrow to win the golden cap round. And then Mix-Up had to play Epsilon in the consolation final, and that went to the wire with the 3rd map on Granary, which was 2-all, and then it was a golden cap, and they won it, and everyone was elated in the hall. I think the whole roof was going to fall, but it was really good to see, and that's how Epsilon got to the final. And as for Froyotech, they've been just sublime. Literally, they haven't lost a match, and they just got here through to the final, and they have picked their first map, which is, by the way, CP Process. So a bit controversial for Epsilon, but yeah. Another thing I'd like to say while I get my iPad unlocked is a big thank you to Nymphy and Snowy. This is the first time. It's the first time they've taken over Tapley and Firestorm. It's a huge task, and I'm pretty sure they've learned a lot from it. And I'm glad I was here with them to help them if they need anything or any questions from before. They've done a really good job, so yeah, congratulations, Nymphy and Snowy. Well done. Okay, so apart from the gaming itself and the adminning, the coverage is another part to this scene. It's been a humongous effort for the coverage team to deliver on the stream and also at the mini stage, which I'm sure some of you have seen. And it was amazing yesterday. It was electric, literally. With the last game, Epsilon versus Classic Mix-Up, it was just insane. And it takes a lot of effort for the coverage team to do what they do. The highlights, the replays, the audio equipment, the resources, the time, and so on. The casters, they lose their voice. I think Ali lost his voice. And Lange needed about like 10 Lensip sachets. So yeah, it's a lot of work. So I mean, I'd just like to go down the list just because I think it deserves it. So a big thank you to, we'll do a round of applause after at the end, right? Not for each one. To Ari, Bones, Dashna, who's been an absolute star. Thank you, Dashna. Well done. I think, can we actually have a special round of applause because he's been the guy who's been doing highlights and replays and he's been working non-stop. So Dashna, well done. David, who's on the stream over there, who's waving, he's going to be directing. So we have a dedicated director for this final, which is great. Bluey for his plugin, Atmo, Admirable, Lange, Tag, Commander X, Ali, Ryushi, Aaron, Ark, Shintaz and Coleman for their comedy cast, wherever they are. Hey. There he is over there. Ace as well for the help that you helped us with the audio on Thursday. Vasky and Lian, and com.tf as well. I won't prolong it too long. I just want to say this is my final iSeries. I've been doing it for a very long time. Believe it or not, since i33 when TF2 came out, and it was sponsored by ATI, believe it or not, and we actually got money and graphics cards back then. So it was really good. This brings back memories of i43, but yeah, no, it's been amazing. I've either played in a team, managed the team, set up the coverage, or just been here with multiplayer since the birth of TF2, and it's been an absolute ride. The multiplayer staff are so accommodating. You have no idea. Like, seriously, they've helped me out so many times for special things that you guys ask for, and they're like accommodating. Just now, David needed a speaker, for example, for his directing, and he got it just like that. It's amazing to see, and they're so friendly, and I'm gonna miss them. I would obviously like to say a massive thanks to the community from all aspects. The trolls, they pushed me even harder to limits that I never thought I would go to try and prove a point. But also all the people who have supported me, for whether it's my team, whether it's trying to bring someone into the Premiership scene, or even just coverage. I mean, it's been an absolute joy to work with, especially Ari and Bones, absolute legends. Like, for me, they've really helped me out here. So a big, massive thank you to Bones and Ari personally for me. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I don't want to prolong anymore. So thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see each other in the bar. Not for any alcoholic drinks, obviously, but yeah. Thanks very much, guys, and have a good final.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the grand final of Insomnia 52 at the Ricoh Arena in Coventry, England. My name is Lange. With me, as always, is my casting partner, Admirable. Admirable, this match is going to be against North America's froyotech and Europe's Epsilon, the finest from both continents, the finest teams in the world right now, finally going to prove once and for all which scene is better.
This is the grand final that we had predicted, or we were hoping for. I'm so glad Classic Mix-Up didn't make it in here. Who would want to see two NA teams in the final? Thank you, Epsilon, for coming good right at the end there. It was a super intense match. Like, each match was only separated by one round. Hopefully we can see some more flowing action this time. We're on Badlands right now, so I'm assuming that's going to be the first map, and as I understand it, froyotech coming in from that upper bracket final get the first 2 map picks. So even though they played Epsilon on this map earlier in the tournament and lost it, they've decided to come out and pick it. Does that surprise you a little bit, Lang?
I mean, you know, Badlands is sort of almost a neutral middle ground in terms of picks between these teams. Both of these teams are going to know this map inside and out. It's something where they'll feel comfortable pulling from a wide array of strategies at their disposal. But I do just want to say that, you know, this whole tournament has been absolutely crazy so far. We've had golden caps going out, tons of best-of-3 series going to the 3rd map, just intense, close back-and-forth action the entire time here at this tournament.
Yeah, the players have definitely delivered, but even more than that, the crowd has delivered. The fans that have been with us down in the dungeon there in the basement on the VTV stage. I think we even converted a few Dota players to our little esport here, Team Fortress 2. We're playing the 6v6 format here. There's also been a Highlander tournament as well, so shout out to those guys. Got to represent. But right now, I'm still looking at, I'm just about to say we're looking at 12 players on the server, but somebody disappeared. I want to say as well that even though Badlands was played in that group stage in the actual bracket, whenever Epsilon were knocked down by froyotech, froyotech were very dominant, 3-0 on process, and then I think Epsilon managed to get 1 or 2 rounds on the next map. But I asked War earlier, what's the difference going to be here between the Epsilon we saw yesterday and the Epsilon we're going to see today in the grand final? And he took the full responsibility. He said he was really underperforming. He didn't like his own calls, but today he's going to step it up. He's going to bring the A game. I hope they haven't celebrated too soon last night, because this is the real final here. Even though it was like a mini final down below in the basement last night, this is where it's all at stake, man.
It absolutely was. The energy and excitement in that last best-of-3 in the consolation final between America's Classic Mix-Up and Europe's Epsilon was intense. An intense match. Anyone down there watching that down at floor -2 will absolutely tell you that, Admirable. But real quick, while we have a little bit of time, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't run down these rosters and tell the people at home just who's going to be playing in these matches. I will, of course, be taking the North American roster, that is froyotech. On froyotech, we are going to have Shade, that's Dante Funari, up on that medic. Long time competitive Team Fortress 2 player, had a long run at the top. This is actually his 3rd consecutive summer iSeries. He's been sent by the community to represent North America 3 years in a row. He is truly one of the best that we have. Following him up, his pocket soldier is going to be Lange. The roaming soldier is going to be none other than Blaze. The scouts, of course, being Clockwork, and that other one.
That guy.
Clockwork and Banny. You know Banny. Banny, legendary demo man. Also his 3rd consecutive iSeries, making the switch from demo, where he was long thought to be the strongest player on that class, but now he's coming to scout, and he's shown that he can hack it on both classes. He can absolutely perform at the highest of high levels, no matter where you put him. And then, of course, replacing Banny on demo man, we have Duwatna. Duwatna is sort of a newer player to the upper high echelons of our scene, but my goodness, Ads, he is hungry for a win, and he's going to prove it.
Yeah, and I just want to say, you know, even though we're rooting for EU here, obviously home crowd, if anyone was going to win it, I'd be more than happy to see Banny take home a world championship. That's my excuses anyway, getting them in early, but I still believe in Epsilon, and I'm going to run you through their roster as well. You can't look any farther than Jean-Louis. It's going to be Nox on medic there, the mastermind of European Team Fortress 2. The player so good they even made an award for him in ETF2L. He's going to be pocketed by Mike, who mightn't be playing the most strict pocket soldier role, but he is probably our greatest talent. He's going to be in that combo with Warhurrier, the demo man of I49, looking to set the standard here once more and come out as the demo man of I52. Gentlemen, John, we're waiting for your articles. On the roamer is going to be the hottest addition to this team, the guy I've tipped for player of the tournament. It is Tech, the incredible roaming soldier from France. He's got moves on Spy, and his sniping is absolutely sensational. And without Sheep here in the final, he's the guy I'm going to be focusing all my camera work on. And then on Scout, we'll have Bash and Epsilon Stalwart. I've been calling him out for his underperformance, but he has stepped up for LAN. He's delivered online. He is a big game player, so you definitely can't discredit him here. Kyler for Fun as well, stepping in as a recent addition to Epsilon this season, is going to be playing that quintessential cleaner role. He's going to be picking up all those frags, following up on the damage from his team. And so far this lad, he has definitely proved he is not just an onliner.
Yeah, I do just want to say that in the games last night, especially towards the end of the evening, Kyler was really stepping it up, just having massive clutch plays, getting those 2 or 3 Ks that absolutely turned the tide of the match, giving the momentum back to Epsilon. So definitely want to be watching him a lot in this game, although really every single player, all 12 of them, are just absolutely phenomenal to watch. Just the displays of skills that they have, and the mastery they have over this game is truly unparalleled and unmatched. Admirable, we're here on CP Process, and let's talk a little bit about this map. It's a relatively new map in terms of TF2 map years. But you know, it's been really, really well received. It is, of course, a community-made map, not a map that was officially shipped with the game when it first came out. But you know, it's pretty wide open, but it favors a lot of aggression, a lot of fast-moving action. It's good for soldiers to jump around. It's good for scouts to get really aggressive. You even occasionally see high-flying demo man jumping around on this map. It's tons and tons of fast-paced fun.
Yeah, hopefully we've got a few new spectators to Team Fortress 2 here, but this engine is sort of based off old Quake physics, so there's actually sick moves you can do here where you can carry your momentum by rump sliding, using explosives to hit these rumps and going flying up into the middle. So it's really one of the most impressive and technical rollouts in the game right now. And that's something you have to watch out for on these mid-fights. As you say, demos and soldiers can be coming in super fast. And really, it is quite electrifying. Sometimes you can even lose the middle, like almost before it's even started. If you've hit that jump perfectly, you're going to be able to create huge openings for your team. Some teams will find themselves even that they're almost intimidated by, like we saw Immunity yesterday where Turmo was just not going to go in and challenge that med pack. He just wanted to hang back. It looks like we're going to go live here, Lange. I want you to take me to the first middle.
I'm going into the eyes of Epsilon's very own Warher, yeah. Choosing to take a little bit of a slower roll up, but in doing that, he is conserving his health. Arriving to the midpoint now, exchanging stickies across the map. Blaze with the big bomb, trying to control some of that high ground for his team. Froyotech and Epsilon now meeting up on this high ground, and it's going to be opened up by Blaze, getting Mike off that high ground, securing things. We do have Tech in the background. He launches Duat to forward. Blaze taking on Tech with that first frag. Duat gets taken down as well by Mike. No team has a clear advantage yet in this fight, but Froyotech seem to be controlling the high ground. The bomb's coming in from Lange, trying to open things up, and Clockwork runs in with 2 onto Bash and to Mike, and with those late frags, Epsilon are going to be forced to back out. Shade now very close to his Uber, and Nox already has his. There's going to be an Uber engagement here on point 2.
Yeah, definite game plan from Epsilon there on that mid-fight. I was watching the tech cam. He went for that demo instead of the medic. Right now, though, here we see froyotech pushing forward with their mana advantage. Mike and Bash just back on the field, but right now it's essentially 4 versus 5 here, and as such, Epsilon are going to respect the numbers game. They're going to back out onto the last. Bash is going to run in and die there. Clockwork on a 3K streak. Look at that kill streak popping up on the kill feed there. They're going to Uber in here with the scouts straight in, and Banny's forced. He's got Duana here to back up. He's going to lay down a carpet of stickies. Clockwork didn't get the memo. It was time to get out of there. He's going to go down. Bash and Kyler just back on the field. The respawns could be enough for Epsilon to hold on here, but Wartech and Mike all go down. They've lost so much team health here. No heavy classes available right now. No spam to deny that point. And first blood will go to 4G here. Give it up for the Americans.
As we go now into this second mid-fight, we're going to check out what Duat is doing, how he's hitting his rollouts. Does he choose to go for the super fast rollout, maybe conserve a bit of health, move a bit slower? No, he's going as fast as he can. He hits that ramp slide into mid, those fun Quake-based physics that we were talking about earlier. Froyotech having a much quicker rollout to mid. Maybe Epsilon's going for something of a delayed coordinated bomb here. They are getting good damage onto the, oh, Blaze eating an air shot or an air sticky there. No bloodshed yet on this mid-fight. Epsilon look to want to push, and yes, Banny is the first player to go down here. Kyler following up into Clockwork. There's no scouts to the flank. Now Froyotech is going down. Shade taking a ton of pressure now. He's low. Can Epsilon find him? Are they going to be able to finish off the frag? It looks like Shade might be able to get out, meeting up with his pocket Lansky, but they are so incredibly low. They're going to have to back out all the way to last and finish building up that Uber. Kyler actually thinking about running in, maybe trying to catch Shade out, but no, he is going to get back into resupply. All of Froyotech are going to respawn now, but Epsilon did cap mid, and they're already on the mini Spire.
I got a quick glimpse of Tech's rollout there, and he whiffed it. He failed the slide right off spawn, and it probably worked out well for them because Blaze was so fast, stole the Epsilon med pack, and then almost found himself overextended. Epsilon came in with a lot of players healed at the same time, and Froyotech reacted poorly to it, lost those players on mid, and now find themselves holding on for dear life on their own last. It is Uber versus Uber right now, so we're going to see a little bit of a stalemate as both teams feel each other. Here goes the perspective bomb from Tech. Surfs the minigun spray from the heavy round, but will not be able to do any damage onto that medic. Shade in no risk of popping off that all-important Uber charge that brings the invulnerability that can make or break any sort of push. With Tech down, froyotech, they're thinking of pushing, but really they can't commit to that. They have a sniper here. They're going to use Clockwork, see if Epsilon want to give them any cheap angles. Lange's going to poke from the rollout as well. They're just looking to see what Epsilon are doing, and just by the fact that they can't even see them, they can assume that it's a very defensive positioning.
Yeah, this is a sniper versus sniper fight right now. We have Tech versus Clockwork. Banny, of course, also up on that engineer. So froyotech's class composition right now is very defensive. Tech taking his time, scoping in on that far left side. He's deciding to move over towards the rollout now. Tech peeking in. Takes the shot, not able to connect the headshot. We do have the sentry now actually catching Bash, extending aggressively. Duana picking up that frag. Oh, I hear a headshot coming out. Damaging a player, and Clockwork gets the frag onto Mike. With 2 players down from Epsilon, this is going to trigger a bit of adventurous aggression here from froyotech. Their health is kind of low, but they still have to do it. You don't get a chance like this every single time you're defending last. They now begin to push out by Lansky. Eats a headshot from Tech. The Uber now forced by Shade on to Lansky. Nox not yet popping his Uber. It is just now popped, and froyotech need to either get a bunch of frags or back off. Late frag onto Kyler, but Bash returning the favor on to Clockwork. 4 players up for Epsilon, 4 players up for froyotech. This fight is still happening out in the yard. Lansky doing what he can to push War back. Mike eating a pill from Duatna, but Tech with the headshots onto Shea that is going to be froyotech's medic down. If Epsilon can just hold, if they can just retain their position here on the Spire, Nox is going to come up, and if they build as fast as they can, they're going to have that Uber advantage.
We might even see them push a little bit. It's going to be still another 5 seconds before Shade's on the field. Epsilon, too weak in terms of health. They're going to back off with their medic and get those love-in heals. We still have Tech playing that off class, so that's a constant threat for froyotech. And they know Clockwork's going to peek up here, and he thinks twice about it. He's just trying to see if there was any cheeky shots he could be taking there, but he will back off again. We're going into a little bit of a stalemate. I see that Nox has decided to make a critical decision here.
Yes.
This is a game of imperfect information, so we don't want to give too much away as casters, but if you're looking at the screen right now, you might see that something's changed. You know what I'm saying, Lang?
Yes, definitely. You can certainly see that here. And here comes that change. It is indeed popped in, and they take down Shade. War is fully charged. Crit Sticky does find its home in the face of froyotech's medic. There is still that sentry up, though, from froyotech's Benny. But whoa, Tech with the shot on to Benny. Now that sentry is bare. It's going to be taken down by the spam from Mike. Epsilon moving on to the point. It's Duwada and Lansky. Lansky doesn't get the frag on to War. We now have Clockwork doing what he can, taking down Mike. Nox is fending for himself with his crossbow, but he's so low, but he's still staying alive. Clockwork, can he get these frags? Shade is up now. Blaze getting on to the point. froyotech are somehow still holding this. Nox has only 20 health left to his name, and he does back out. And with that unfortunate push there from Epsilon, froyotech are going to once again try to push out, but as we've already seen, Epsilon might be able to still retain a hold on it.
Yeah, slightly heartbreaking to see Tech still on the sniper as they pushed in there. He was standing behind a lot of those guys trying to pop. So here comes the crits, though, from the PC area. Mike picks up a frag onto Blaze. Kyler's going to find Shade with the scattergun, and War onto Clockwork. That's 3 frags in quick succession here. The door has been kicked wide open by Epsilon. They will be pushing momentarily after they take control of Spire. They're already sending players in here. War, here he is, whipping out the pipe launcher. He's trying to connect the air shots. Nox is still staying alive here. He's managed to maintain that advantage. And as Shade spawns, he's going to go down to the headshot from Tech, but still Epsilon haven't been able to get in there and turn these strong plays into another round on the board.
Banny, during that fight, actually got behind and won the 1v2 versus both of Epsilon's scouts after they capped the point. But that headshot from Tech stopping any plans that froyotech might have had to push out with that pick onto Shade. Right now, we're just seeing both teams sitting back, building up their charges. The push will be coming in quite soon. Epsilon preparing for another assault here on the last. Tech scoping up, trying to find a shot. And here we come now. War, the crits is popped. The crit sticky goes in. It does not find a frag. And Epsilon being very careful here to not overextend with that crits that has been blown now. froyotech seeing an opportunity, try to peek into this lobby, maybe catch somebody off. Tech scoping up, trying to find the frag, but after that crits hasn't worked out, Epsilon, and we're going to back off. Both teams building up their Uber. froyotech now with the Uber advantage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Epsilon could have committed a little bit more to that. I mean, right in that situation, Shade was nowhere near having charge. Any frag is good there. You don't have to get that magic long-range medic pick. Any frag at all will give you that man advantage, and from there you can just start to really bully your opposition. We're going to see Clockwork stepping up towards that rollout. They will back off again. He's tried that play a few times but nobody from Epsilon is holding close enough for him to be able to land that shot. But still, Tech remains to be on that sniper class 2. He's playing super defensive. It's going to be very hard for anyone on the Froyo side to pressure him without being terribly overcommitted. But there's no secret here. froyotech know that Nox is still running that crit streak. He hasn't died since he first popped it, and as long as they remember that, essentially having the medigun invulnerability should trump crits every time, but it's all down to Shade making that right click and flashing the right players at the right time. It's just going to continue to be a little bit of respect shown here by both teams. The real issue here for Epsilon, or for any team pushing into Process last Lange, is that it's just such a huge distance to cover. And of course, as a defender, you can always just step into spawn and get full health again. So you have to focus down targets very quickly or play the point. Here we're going to see the Uber come in as Epsilon get caught with their pants down. Blaze and Lansky combine, picking up 3 frags, but the back cap's in. How did I miss that, Lange?
I don't know. Kyler just ran in when froyotech started to get aggressive, got onto the point and capped it, clutching out that round for Epsilon. We are now tied at 1-1, about 9.5 minutes into this first map, going into the third mid rollout now. War not able to catch that Surf, and Blaze with the extremely fast rollout has denied the health kit and the clean entrance from War. Epsilon are getting into this mid very, very slowly. froyotech control all of the high ground. Epsilon are looking like they don't even want to try to fight this. Mike trying to open up what he can, but he's going to get caught out and taken down by that sticky from Duat, and it's getting in the door. And whoa, Blaze and Lansky both jumping in very aggressively through the choke. They do not want to let Epsilon get comfortable at all. The mid cap is going to go the way of froyotech, and they're going to cap up the mini spire here as well. Uber's being built for both teams, very close, and the last push is imminent from froyotech.
Tech is really struggling with his soldier mechanics on these rollouts. Blaze has outrolled him on several mids so far, and that's really affecting the options that Epsilon have when they come into that mid fight. Uber's going to be popped off here. Bottom right, Nox is trying to lead out with Mike. So that's Tech getting plucked out of the sky by Banny Scattergun. Nox is going to back off here, but he's not going to make it. Clockwork gets the 2K. Nox down, Kyler down, Lansky onto Bash. Shade's going to pop off his Uber, but there's nothing Epsilon can do here. Surely even Mike, greatest soldier of all time, can't clutch this one 1v5. And 4G are going to be back in the lead here, making it 2-1 Lange.
Epsilon need to find a way to not get shut down on these mids. It seems like the aggression from froyotech soldiers is sort of keeping them corralled back on their side. Going now into this next mid, to see how Epsilon approaches differently. Tech is their answer with the big, fast bomb, trying to distract Duat and getting him down actually to quite low health. He's given Epsilon more room to work with. The follow-up bomb coming from Mike. Tech getting back up on that high ground as well. And now, whoa, the big bombs from Blaze going in, helping to take down Tech with his scouts. Clockwork and Banny now pushing forward, cleaning house. Nox getting caught, isolated over in that sewer area. Both of froyotech scouts are going to run in and take it down. It's just Kyler now. Kyler behind enemy lines. Shade is down. Kyler, if he moves correctly here, he might be able to get a couple of frags, but no, that focus fire from Blaze and Lansky is going to take him down. That's a full wipe from Epsilon on mid, but both medics have gone down in that fight. So Epsilon, if they get their spawns up in time, can definitely try to defend point 2.
Yeah, Shade's going to take matters into his own hands with a switch up here, but right now, both teams will be expecting perhaps a little bit of a standoff. They're going to be waiting for their respective charges. But I will most definitely be expecting froyotech to take the initiative here, considering what they're packing and the fact that they control that midpoint. Gives them the faster spawns. They can get back into the action quicker. So dying isn't that terrible. You know, there's not so much of a consequence is what I'm trying to say here. Here comes froyotech. They're about to work through choke here with their combo. It looks like the Wana might be getting a fully charged crit sticky. He's going to find Mike there. Will not be able to tag Nox. He's not even got the charger. He's just about to get it, but Epsilon with 2 down and no soldiers can test that Spire will more than likely be sitting back on last. I would be very surprised if they push right now. Clockwork's going to go down, but even that shouldn't encourage them until they get those soldiers up. Tech as well might take the opportunity to snipe, but time will tell. Now they're going to move forward with the Demo Man. Ward's moving towards the lobby. Of course, the Demo Man, the only class that can contest the Spire without actually being on it, spamming those stickies up. Looks like they're going to push out from lower here. Oh, War gets dropped. Duatna with the sticky trap. Nox with the miss clicks. He's going to leave his team short-handed. Clockwork's going to last. It's Clockwork versus Tech here. And Banny's going to come in to join him. Get a taste of their own medicine there. 4G with the back cap line.
3-1 in favor of the North Americans. But Epsilon had a stronger showing on that last mid. I think they're starting to figure out what they need to do to counter this aggression from froyotech. Watching now is War. He hits the fast rollout. He'll be in a better position this time. Blaze are getting quite aggressive. Tech, though, making some room for his demo man. Now War with a more comfortable position, starting to get some better spam up top, preventing the scouts of froyotech from just walking across. Epsilon has a much better line in the sand. Tech with the big bomb. Is he going to get Duatna? He does. And now Epsilon is trying to be aggressive as they can, moving across the point. That sticky spam being gone is huge for them. Epsilon currently have the better buffs, the better heals, but Clockwork runs in, takes down Nox, Banning with the follow-up frag onto Mike. War, the only player left alive for Epsilon. He has to sticky jump out. Clockwork is going to find him, though. War down to just 11 health, but Banny and Clockwork are going to find him over in the IT area. Another mid ending in a full wipe for Epsilon as froyotech, they've got a big Uber advantage, Admirable.
Yeah, I can't help but feel Epsilon were a little complacent right towards the later stages of that mid fight. They thought they had it won, and they thought it was done and dusted, and 4G abused their overconfidence. They just stepped in with a well-timed, coordinated push and picked up 4 frags back to back. We're going to see Epsilon's Warhurrier finishing off Lange there with the sticky mic onto Duatna as well. Means that froyotech are short-handed as they push in here. The Uber has been popped off, but Shane knows it's not worth pushing on. He's going to try and retreat here. He's actually run all the way to Chuck. Meanwhile, we see Blaze taking out Bash there in the lobby, and Clockwork was poking in around Rolla. He was thinking of going for the back cap there, but Epsilon weren't taking the bait. They weren't pushing out super fast. They're going to regroup here and make sure that they have 6 up when they push with this impending Uber advantage.
froyotech getting back onto their 2 with their respawns now. They just got to try to contain Epsilon for the next few seconds. Sort of sit, wait, back up, build their Ubers up. And it'll be interesting to see if in this downtime, if Epsilon try to make any plays happen. With less than 15 minutes left, it really is on Epsilon to make things happen. And picking down Duatna, the demo man, might just be what they need. But Clockwork getting that 6th kill in his streak does take down Bash. And now Mike and the rest of Epsilon, though, with those 2 frags, feel comfortable enough pushing out onto their mini Spire, and they're going to cap it right back up.
I was very aware of the back cap potential. I was furiously looking to see if anyone from froyotech was going to try and slip through, get behind enemy lines, but it didn't happen. They leapfrog essentially. Now the Uber advantage is in favor of Shade, and they're already pouring through Choke here. Massive wave of blue players comes crashing down on top of that Spire. Kylo kills off Blaze, but Duatna is going to finish off Mike right there, meaning it's a 5-on-5, but 4G are continuing to lose players. Duatna gets bum rushed by Bash. Warhurrier will kill off Lansky as well with a little help from Bash, who's going to protect him by finishing off Banny. Oh, Epsilon are looking pretty solid here. It would require huge plays for anything to happen. Otherwise, Nox remains in control. He's got the Uber lead here, 100% charge, while Shade is way behind here. They're not even going to contest this mid, and that is definitely the correct decision.
Yeah, froyotech backing out through that IT area, choosing to play this one safely. Epsilon capping up that point, and I'm expecting that they're going to continue their aggression through here. Getting their players buffed up, thinking about what their next move is. We see froyotech playing here defensively, trying to hold on their point, trying to build up their Uber as quickly as they can. Now we have the aggression from Epsilon. Their Uber is popped, moving in through lower. Nox is flashing everybody. He wants to get them in through that choke cleanly, try to let them do as much damage as they can. But froyotech, they have backed out. Their Uber now is being built up. Whoa, a lot of frags going the way of 4G right there. And that's a full wipe for Epsilon, in fact.
Incredible there from froyotech. They were at Uber disadvantage, but she had positioned himself so that he could just back out and let Epsilon chase him into the trap. Everybody from Froyo did the ninja vanish where the players were invulnerable, but as it faded, they came out and took all those one-on-ones and seemed to win them. 6 down for Epsilon means that 4G are going to take a massive leap in territory here, retaking mid and surely taking the Spire. Epsilon have something to say about that though. A shot rings out across the map. Tech is sniping again. He's trying to peek around rollout here. He may hit an heroic shot, but is more likely to get picked up. As such, he's going to back off and try and regroup with his team here. But Epsilon are about to face a tough test here as the Ubered Lansky bombs forward, gets the pick onto War. No demo man means no area control with those stickies. No longer a threat. Clockwork steps onto the point. He's going to bait out the aggression from Epsilon. They're throwing everything they have to block this point, but it's just not enough. They can't block that with no players left alive, line.
4-1 now for froyotech. Going to this next mid-fight, 12 minutes left on the clock in this first map. We'll see which demo man hits the rollout a little bit faster. Duatna hitting the surf. Tech, though, with the big, big bombs, actually hitting a nice direct predicted onto Blaze onto that high ground there. Both soldiers from both teams getting aggressive across the mid. 4G are clustered up on that point. The first frag, whoa, Clockwork picking up 2 right away. Lansky with the third. Bash now, though with that flank, he does find Lansky. He finds Shade all alone. Bash is going to pick up Shade as well. Bash actually might be able to clutch this out for his team. The health on froyotech is not great. Bash engaging in that 1v1 versus Banny. Oh, he does take him down before Blaze does kill him. Bash has actually bought his team a ton of time, though. He might not have won the 1v3, but still, he did what he needed to. He picked up the medic. He picked up enough frags to slow froyotech down, and Epsilon are going to be able to get their spawns up, get their Uber up in time, and have a strong defense on their point, too.
Blaze showing no honor there. Didn't let the scout duels happen because Bash was about to wreck those kids. Luckily, he was there to step in and shore things up for his team. froyotech taking control of the middle, but Epsilon know that this is a non-Uber situation. They're going to make the play outside of the Uber game. They're stepping in now, trying to focus down their targets. Blaze is the guy to overextend. He goes down. Tech will trade as well. So both roamers down, but 4G losing Lansky, Banny, and Clockwork in quick succession. No scouts up for Froyo. Means there's no threat of a back cap. Epsilon can just use one player to cap here and push forward and maximize their territory gains. They can even spawn camp here. The spawn's just about to come up. Here he is, jumping ahead. He's got stickies on the door. Oh, Clockwork's going to get caught napping right there by the English demo man. Rookie mistake.
Hate to see it, Ads. We do now have Epsilon. With that late pick onto Clockwork, they can try to push in with that one-man advantage they have now. Blaze doing what he can to stall out this push. We have Epsilon now starting to come in the Uber. Now pop for Nox. Mike jumping in deep. Shade does get his Uber, though. It is popped in return. Lansky trying to chase away Epsilon's pocket. Mike. No bloodshed in that Uber exchange. Very, very tenuous from both teams. Just going to back off to their respective sides. Think about what they're going to do next as we have a little bit of aggression here in that lobby area. Tech is actually going to find Clockwork. This might trigger an off Uber push from Epsilon. It looks like it is, but wait. Lansky has found Collar for fun, and Blaze is going to jump and get another frag on Duatna. Whoa, Duatna picking up 2 frags there. Banny on the heavy is going to pick up Bash. It's only Nox left alive. If he can get out, this will be huge. He does find the health kit, and he seems that he's managed to get out unseen through that IT. Nox surviving here is really important, but froyotech winning that off-Uber fight there as Epsilon attempted to push into last.
Yeah, incredible read on what Epsilon were trying to achieve there. Duatna managed to catch them right in the choke point. He had all those red players bunched up, and those stickies were doing bonus damage. Epsilon now with the respawns will be unable to make it through this choke point without suffering significant casualties. That's why they're going to back off and try and get that Uber out. It's pretty much neck and neck in terms of the charges. Oh, we're going to see a little bit of a flanking maneuver coming in here from 4G. They've already been spotted out in the PC area. Tech's going to get a frag as the Uber comes in. And Nox is going to flash both his soldiers here, but 2 frags, in fact, both scouts getting caught out by Tech on the flank there, and Epsilon are going to drive home here, trying to get as much from this engagement as they can. It could be a wipe right now. Blaze is being hounded into the sewer area there. He's hiding in the corner. Going to get pistoled down by Bash. Duatna survives, but definitely froyotech on the back foot. We're going to see a off class as well there from Banny.
With Shade going down in that fight and Nox surviving, Epsilon is going to have an Uber advantage. They still have yet to cap up that Spire. They're actually keeping up the aggression. War finding Clockwork there somewhere over on the flank. We have Mike now getting quite close in this lobby area as well. Epsilon now getting on that mini Spire. That's point 2, capturing that up. froyotech thinking about how they want to position their defenses here. Got something interesting coming out from them. We'll have to see what that ends up being. Epsilon getting their players buffed up, preparing for the push. Coming in now is the Uber from Epsilon. Nox popping that onto Tech. Tech getting a wall air shot on the Blaze. Mike with the follow-up, finishing up that frag. Actually, that's War coming in. Whoa, the heavies are coming out for froyotech. But do they see this up here? Behind is Tech. He comes out now. Can he get the frag onto Duatna? He does. If Epsilon can come back in, they might be able to finish this off. But no, Nox is saying, wait. Get your buffs, play this safe. We don't want to donate this to froyotech. Backing up now, a little bit of aggression coming out from the North Americans. Here in last, though, we do have Kyler peeking in, trying to see if he can go for another back cap. He does take down Lansky with 12 health left. He goes for Clockwork, but Clockwork's going to have that overheal. He is going to win that fight. That aggression from Kyler has managed to stall off the push from froyotech. Epsilon are going to continue to hold on to this, and they're going to have another chance at it.
Remember, of course, that we do play to the clock here in Europe. So right now there are 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes remaining on this map. Froyotech with a 3-round lead here are more than entitled to sit back on that Uber advantage. Just let it run down, because every second that ticks down is a second closer to them taking the first map in this best of 3 here, Alex. We're going to see Clockwork down and Mike down at present, but it's really all on Epsilon to create the opening, try and get in there. Tech with that headshot ringing out, doesn't find a frag. He sees a soldier on the right, whiffs the shot. He's just trying to do as much damage as he can to just intimidate the enemy and create that opening for his teammates. Uber gets popped off here in the lobby though, as Epsilon seem to get forced or slightly whiffed their push there. And now they're going to have to back out. It could be a little bit of bait offered up to Froyotech, but they definitely don't need to push. There's a back cap attempt from Kyler for fun. It's going to be denied by Clockwork. And Lange was there in tow as well, but he wasn't required. Clockwork handling that one all on his lonesome.
Epsilon peeking in through that rollout area. They're all in one place. They're kind of eating all the same spam right now. Tech peeking in. He takes a shot. It does not find a home in the heads of any of the Froyotech members. Tech still up on that sniper, trying to see what he can do for his team. Froyotech feeling a bit emboldened. They do peek out, and Lange is going to find Tech and pick him off, but with only 5.5 minutes left on the clock, I'm not sure it's really in Froyotech's best interest to push. I think it really is on Epsilon to continue this aggression and start converting these pushes into round wins.
Well, Epsilon have already produced a better result than they did in the brackets when they lost this map straight 3-0. They have managed to crack them at least once with 1 round on the board, but as you say, they are still way behind here. 5 minutes on the clock. It's time to throw everything you've got at it. Like, really, they have nothing to lose here. Throw caution to the wind. Produce all the big plays that you can. And one man that's thinking on my train of thought is Epsilon's Tech. Do you see what I see, Lang?
I do certainly see it. We'll have to see what this develops into right now. As Froyotech just have a very, very defensive position here. You have Tech. He does unfortunately get spotted out there. He went to make his move, but unfortunately he couldn't get to that positioning of Shade. But Tech now knowing where Shade is, he's called that out for his team. Mike's gonna come in with the Uber, trying to force the split, and actually Shade has split his Uber a lot of ways there, making it, of course, not last quite as long. Every time you split your Uber amongst different players, it shortens the duration. Epsilon, though, backing off once again, not able to finish out that push. The defensive heavy coming from Froyotech seems to really be giving them a tough time. This is, of course, a notoriously tough last to push into, especially against things like Lange and the Heavy. But now we have the forced aggression coming out again from Epsilon. Blaze and Lansky, though, their spam coordinated onto that entrance there, down there in lobby. They're going to find 2 frags. Nox giving all the heals he can out to Tech. Tech still going to get taken down by Clockwork there. With only 3 players left alive, I'm not sure that this push right now is going to be too successful from Epsilon. So they once again have to back off, get their buffs, and that just is going to continue to eat through what little precious time they have.
Yeah, Epsilon's options here to push are really limited, because like one of the most powerful strategies in TF2 is, as you say, the reverse pick, where you go in and sacrifice a few players and almost bait the repush. But Froyotech have no need to repush right now. Epsilon have to Uber first, and Froyotech, using their defender's advantage, are able to milk their Uber for a few seconds. They're going to check into the lobby here and see if there's any frags, but Epsilon aren't going to give them anything here. And they know that this Uber game isn't working. They're trying to poke in from that rollout ramp. Warharia putting down as much sticky damage as he can, hoping that Bash can fall up on it, but Bash gets cleaned up by Lansky. War will finish off Lansky and avenge his fallen comrade, but Dewatna responds along with Blaze. 3 frags coming in against Epsilon as Tech and Kyler join Bash in the spawn queue. But this is looking grim right now for Epsilon. They're probably already thinking about that next map, but I'm surprised they haven't learned any lessons from playing against Froyotech yesterday. They seem to be just unable to come up with any answers, especially considering there's so little time left. But they were playing late into the night and they have to play early in the morning. Probably didn't have much time to review any demos or do their homework, Lang.
Yeah, this is true. Froyotech coming in from the upper bracket sort of had a much shorter day yesterday. They had time to strategize and rest up, but Epsilon were playing until about 1 a.m. last night. Their hard fought pass through both the upper and lower brackets there, maybe taking its toll on them. Epsilon trying to see what they can make happen right now, but they're a player down. That's Mike. He needs to come back up. That's the pocket soldier for Epsilon. He's going to be taking the brunt of their Ubers. If you don't have him, it's hard to get the necessary damage out of your Ubers. But with only 2 minutes left on the clock, Epsilon are forced to push in. Tech being taken down. The Uber being popped much later by froyotech. War actually getting juggled up at the end there. Not able to get back into safety as froyotech now with 2 picks onto Epsilon. I'm not even sure if they're going to try to push out because there's only 1:40 left on the clock. They can just continue to run this down, parking the bus on last.
They absolutely should. Oh, a little bit of action going on there around the lobby as Mike takes down the Watna. That could be the opening they need. No stickies will give you a few extra options, like you're at least not going to insta-die to a sticky trap on one of the entrances, but it's in fact froyotech who step up to fill the void left by the Watna, picking up Tech and Bash around the lobby, and that opportunity for Epsilon is just going to slip through their fingers yet again. 1 minute left on the clock here. The writing is on the wall, and this must be really frustrating for Epsilon right now. I wonder how it's going to affect their mental state. They're effectively bashing their heads up against a wall here time and time again, and nothing is happening. Uber gets forced out here. Shade smells blood. He's going to move forward. They have trap knocks in the lobby here. He's giving them the jukes. Shade's going to whip out the Uber, so even though he's got the charge, he's just trying to humiliate the French medic. He will succeed. There was a back cap attempt there during all that, but even if they had taken that round, it wouldn't have mattered. The clock ticks down to 30 seconds, and froyotech are in the ascendancy. It's definitely going to be one round here in this first best of 3, and as the winners of that upper bracket final, they're going to be able to pick this second map as well. Epsilon are truly at the mercy of the North Americans here, Lang.
Yeah, 20 seconds left on the clock. This first map here in this set, it's going to be ending 4-1 in favor of froyotech. As the last 10 seconds here are beginning to count down. We see a little fun banter between the teams actually in the in-game chat. Perhaps Nox and Shade having a duel there in that lobby, just for a bit of fun right there at the end. Good showing here from North America at the end of our first map. We're going to be preparing for our second map. I don't know off the top of my head what that is going to be, but hopefully we can get that information relayed to us as soon as possible. Admirable, what did you see in that? What do you think Epsilon, what weren't they countering from froyotech?
Well, right from the start, it seemed like Tech was pretty rusty in terms of those rollouts. I mentioned it a few times during the cast, but Blaze was hitting them every time, and that might be due to the fact that wherever we came in here this morning, froyotech were already set up, getting used to their settings. Maybe Epsilon slightly warming up during those first rounds, but just having that roamer there in the middle to deny the med pack with that fast rollout, also the spam into choke, it starts to really limit your options in that mid fight, and also like it's practically over before you've even gone in there. Like, why would you take a fight where you knew you were at a disadvantage? And their froyotech's play outside the mid was super solid. Like, they only lost one round despite the numerous chances Epsilon had to push and break them. Really picking these maps with strong last holds, it seems, as we go into Gully Wash. Like,
yeah, Gully Wash, I mean, this is a map where I personally want to favor Epsilon. I feel like Epsilon probably understands this map more. They probably have more experience on it, especially, you know, Nox. For those who maybe don't know, Nox is the absolute core of the comms and strategy coming on from Epsilon. He can micromanage his entire team. He understands this game inside and out. He knows these maps. He knows how they work. And Gully Wash is definitely one of those maps that he firmly understands how to control the pace of. And once Epsilon can control that pace, get those advantageous situations for their combo, let War and Mike do the damage that they need to do, that's when Epsilon really start to shine. That's when they start to snowball, and they start looking really, really scary, Eds.
yeah, I'm just taking a quick look at the logs here. I don't think we have them up on stream, but I can tell you, of course, War Hurry, Demoman of I49 was top damaging with 338 per minute. Duatna not far behind him in 318. But then it's all froyotech in terms of damage there. Lange and Blaze put out about 300 DPM each. We are going to see something on the stream there, actually. This is beautiful. And just continuing to look down there, slight underperformance or relative terms. Mike and Tech not living up to the hype. Really low damage numbers there. Lots of deaths. They seem to be struggling to get a foothold in the game.
One stat I'm looking at that is really interesting to me is if we look at the assists of the two medics, is that correct? Does Shade only have 9 assists and Nox has 19? That seems like a crazy disparity to me. I'm wondering just how that's happened, but you know, I guess that's because, you know, Epsilon had just so many of these attempted pushes into last. Nox was flashing his Uber all over the place. But regardless, we are here live now on the second map. This is CP Gullywash, froyotech versus Epsilon. Watching now is Duwatna. Arrives to mid, sending his initial damage over towards the big door. That is where most of Epsilon are coming through. The bomb from Tech gets stuffed. The soldiers now of froyotech arriving onto mid as well. We see neither team really wanting to cross that line. Tech, though, with the flank up behind, and he does take down Clockwork. That's a lot of froyotech's damage. No longer available on this mid-fight, but Blaze has rushed in. Still, though, 2 frags for each team, neither team, but finally Blaze and Lange teaming up to take down a whole bunch of Epsilon, and it's only War left alive with 11 health points to his name. They're going to back out. That's a pretty clean mid-win for froyotech, and they're going to have a full Uber as they push into yard.
Epsilon really needed to deliver on that mid to sort of get themselves back in the game, get some momentum, remember what it feels like to win an engagement. But froyotech come out again with the dominant showing. They seem to have Epsilon's number here. And now Epsilon are going to have to whip out the off classes on last. You see Bash and Kyler not playing scout here. They're going to try and maximize the defensive potential here with the heavy weapons guy. And a Pyro, Bash comes in, gets them stuffed back into the riverside there. This Uber may have been nullified. Bash will go down, but froyotech don't seem phased in the slightest. Mike comes in from behind. He's trying to do as much damage as possible, combining with Warrior to take out Blaze, Clockwork. And Duwatna eats the shotgun, buckshot to the face. There's pressure on the point though, as Lansky emerges from below. There's a scout here as well. It's all on Nox, last man alive. First blood goes to froyotech again, and Epsilon find themselves playing from behind. If you've been listening to what Arx has to say, this is bad news for Europe.
Yeah, some players certainly theorize that Epsilon are a team that's so based on the momentum that if they lose the first round, it can maybe be tough for them to come back. But we're going to see if that's true here going into this second mid-fight now. Epsilon going big door again, but this time War has gone through the choke. Seeing how they can contain the bombs from froyotech. Whoa, the downward air shot onto Mike as Tech now gets up, and he gets absolutely stuffed by Banny. The aggression from both of the soldiers of Epsilon has been completely nullified. Banny's going to pick up Kyler down there, now taking the 1v1 against Bash. Bash is going to come out on top in that one, but Blaze has found Nox there over in yard, preventing that escape. Bash is also now going to meet Blaze over at that big door area. A full wipe for Epsilon. Shade once again surviving on froyotech, so once again they have an Uber advantage moving into this point too.
One of the strongest points of Nox's medic game is usually that he has a pretty instant read on a mid-fight as to whether he should back out, but this time he didn't survive. Hunted down by Blaze. Ruthless there from the North American rumor. The guy with the best hair at LAN, confirmed lethal killer. Also, Mike's poking from the lobby here. He's going to encourage an Uber push here from froyotech. They've popped sort of blind through that roller door. They need to cover a lot of ground here. Epsilon have an opportunity to just sit back, soak up this damage, and as such, Shade with the raid here is going to just call his team not to continue. They're going to go up top and seek out some frags. Kyler has gone down, but Mike is going to take out Lansky as well, but froyotech just stack at the point, forcing the fight on their terms. And with another quick round here, Epsilon might be time for a timeout. You know, maybe somebody disconnect your mouse, disconnect your keyboard. You guys need a team talk right now.
Epsilon have got to dig deep. They've got to figure out what's going wrong on these mids and change it quickly. Third mid fight now. Epsilon mostly going big door again. This time we're not going through that choke. Tech trying to open things up as early as he can for his team, get that room, and he succeeded in letting Epsilon get up on the high ground, but Nox gets separated. He's down so low. He is still surviving, but Banny's going to go into the elbow, taking the 1v1. Oh my god, Epsilon has somehow defended Nox, and now this mid, this might be the first one going the way of Epsilon. Nox with just the insane jukes. Banny couldn't even touch him. Now the shoe is on the other foot. They've won mid, and Nox has survived. Shade going down. Now Epsilon have the Uber advantage, getting ready to push into 2.
Duwatna is up top here. He's aware that Mike is somewhere below him. He's not quite sure. Now he's going to jump up and try and contest the demo man. No, Duwatna's just setting up Sticky. He's backing off. He does not want to make any unnecessary risks here for his team. It's so important that froyotech keeps 6 players up here, because having men on the field is the one thing that's so powerful against that Uber disadvantage. They know they're up against it here. Nox did not die, as you say. He has that charge. Epsilon going to lead from the high ground here, coming in and actually getting juggled. They realize they're up against a sentry gun now. Banny with the off class immediately switches to scout after the gun has done the work. Blaze went down. during that engagement though, but as Epsilon continue to hemorrhaging players, but it is working out in their favor. No, it's 3-on-3 right now. Duana goes down right at the end. There's so little health on the froyotech team. Lange goes to the cabinet. He's going to be able to come back out again. The respawn from Blaze as well as they combine. Double rockets going to be able to deny Epsilon from that round they so desperately need here. Nox is going to survive though, and that will keep them in the game. He already has 24% in the tank, and he's going to continue to build here, and froyotech will know that if they've been paying attention.
Shade only just recently spawning up. Epsilon getting their players buffed up, continuing to build that Uber as their spawns come back into position here out on CP2. Thinking about where they want to take this in, maybe go lobby on the riverside, trying to think how they're going to strategize this. We do see a little bit of off-classing coming out defensively, and that's something you'll see really, really commonly here on Gully Wash. This last point is so good for defensive off-classing. You see it more than really on almost any other map. Maybe CP Badlands last is the only other place you can see comparable off-classing from the defense. But now we do have the Uber coming in from Epsilon. That Sentry stuffing them, and Clockwork getting the reflect rocket frag onto Mike. The Sentry getting taken down by War, but Duana and Blaze teaming up, getting a bunch of frags over there onto Epsilon. Blaze finishing off Nox there, and that is going to be a full wipe as Bash gets taken down by Duana. froyotech, I think, not losing a single player and not popping their Uber, going to cleanly move out into yard, going to leave some of their players to cap. Blaze is scouting out the positioning of Epsilon on this mid, relaying that information to his team so they can figure out how to best approach this. Lange now leading this push through the choke for his team. We have all the heavy classes of froyotech getting into this mid. Blaze is going to die to the stickies from War, but in doing that, he kept Epsilon occupied at that choke, letting 4G get in for free, but wow, the bump from Mike has forced the Uber. It's immediately split out. If Epsilon can back up and bait out the remainder of this Uber from froyotech, they might be able to turn this fight around. Lansky's taking a lot of damage. Nox is relatively safe in the lobby area, but the numbers are just too many, too great in favor of froyotech. Epsilon need to back up as Tech on that sniper does get taken down. Nox and the rest of his team back up at last, trying to build as quickly as they can, but I don't think froyotech are going to stop this aggression.
Yeah, they're going to keep going here. They absolutely should. They have the man advantage in this engagement with Tech going down there. That was an untimely death. He's going to spawn slightly later than his teammates. Oh, they're going to throw bodies on the point here. Epsilon drawn down to defend, effectively throwing themselves into the meat grinder as froyotech extend their lead to 3 rounds here. Epsilon yet to get a round on the board. Could this be another successful mid for Epsilon, like?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Epsilon. They certainly have learned something here. They got that last mid. That round was much closer to going Epsilon's way there. We'll have to see if they can pull out something again on this mid fight. The huge skybox bombs from Tech, turning all the eyes of froyotech, letting Epsilon get a little bit of breathing room here. But no, the flanks from Blaze, they're going to find War, and now the collapsing aggression from froyotech going to shut down Mike. It's only Nox. Whoa, Blaze with the air shot onto Nox, and now it is only Kyler for fun left alive here, trying to do anything he can, buy as much time, trying to get Epsilon's respawns up. He does get taken down finally by Banny, though. Banny is going to be left to cap point 2. froyotech almost has their Uber, and the push will be coming in shortly.
Yeah, Epsilon getting manhandled by froyotech on another mid-fight, and they're going to be wondering, are they still dreaming here? Is this a nightmare? Looks like they're about to lose a 4th round. The Pyro of Bash will do all he can to deny that Uber charge, though, but he will go down. 2 frags come in quick succession again. Tech and Mike going down. Focus down instantly. War as well means there's no explosive damage, no splash to control that point, and froyotech are just running away with it here. This could be the shortest grand final of all time.
Epsilon, they've got to find an answer. They are 1 round away from losing this grand final. If froyotech go up 5-0, that'll be the end of it right there. Tech with a fast rollout onto mid, trying to deny Duana. He takes a little bit of life away from Duana, but he's still alive. He has pushed him out of that choke. froyotech, 2 frags for each team now. Epsilon are getting corralled back in, though, and Nox takes the spam from Lansky. He does get taken down. It's just Bash and Kyler left alive. Kyler trying to do anything he can now. Bash, with 11 health left, is being forced to back out. Another mid-win, another decisive mid-win for froyotech. Shade, of course, surviving while Nox did go down, so once again, they have this Uber advantage. Admirable, this could be it.
This is match point right now for froyotech. It's tournament point for froyotech. There's a mercy rule here. If they can make it a win difference of 5, a 5-round lead, the game will end. froyotech will be crowned World Championships. You're watching history unfold right here live on your screens and in the arena. Clockwork's going to make his way onto the point as the Uber phase goes. Huge crushes, war, no stickies again. And we have a result. Froyotech with an outstanding team performance. It wasn't just individuals there, Lange. Everybody was playing the absolute top of their game on the 4G side. And Epsilon just seemed to melt away in the face of that amazing performance. I'm not mad that North America won. I said I wanted the best team to win, and we've just seen that.
Yeah, Froyotech were absolutely dominant in that entire set. Epsilon only got one frag. Sorry, one round there, and that was on CP Process, that first map there. Gullywash being a complete shutout. I thought Epsilon were going to take this one, but Froyotech, just their aggression was too much.
Looking at the stream right now, I can see pleasantries, commiserations, and congratulations being exchanged on the stage by the players. The Clockwork shaking hands with the Byte there. He's like, geez, is this thing over already? That was sort of easy, man. He was just getting warmed up. But this is going to be the end of the Team Fortress 2 tournament sponsored by Emerge. Shout out to those guys. They helped me emerge from my slumber this morning. But I don't even want to look at the logs. Like, that's how much of a roll that was. That's how hard these kids just got smashed. It's not going to tell me anything other than NA or the Master Race. I, for one, welcome our new overlords, Lange.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 5-0 says everything you need to. But yeah, on behalf of Vanilla TV, Team Fortress TV, and Multiplay hosting the Team Fortress 2 here, that's going to be it for us. We thank you all for watching the third Intercontinental Team Fortress 2 here at a Summer iSeries. But stay tuned, because right here on this stream, we do have the Counter-Strike Go finals coming up next. Don't want to miss those.